Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Let me start the lecture review. This will be the last day for our review lecture on pharmaceutical inorganic chemistry. So the objective is to finish discussing up until the group properties of the elements under group 8B. Okay, let's start. We'll begin reviewing on group 5A elements, or they are also known as group 15 elements, the nitrogen family. So under this are the following: nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, and bismuth. Can we familiarize the order of the elements under this group? Now, kindly take note that the old name of nitrogen family, they are also known as pnictogens. Pnictogen, this comes from the Greek root word nigen. And nigen means to choke, or this group of elements, when they form compounds, there are certain compounds that have the ability to cause choking, cause coughing in the absence of air. So that's the meaning of pnictogen. Bakit sila tinawag na pnictogen? So I repeat, they tend to form certain compounds. Halimbawa for nitrogen, it forms nitride. And nitride is a compound that has the ability to cause suffocation or choking. With regards to the characteristics of the oxides under these elements, we have acidic oxides, meron ding basic oxides, and amphoteric. For nitrogen and phosphorus, their oxides are said to be acidic in character kasi they are nonmetals. Bismuth, being listed on the bottom part, by yung metallic property increases going down a group. So highly metallic yung characteristic ni bismuth. So yung metal oxides, as we recall, basic yung characteristic. Now, in the case of arsenic and antimony, yung oxides naman nila are amphoteric. Kasi arsenic and antimony are part of metalloid, semi-metals. So, kumbaga, they have both characteristics ng non-metal at saka metal. Kaya, their oxides, amphoteric in nature. So, as we recall, ang amphoteric, they are able to act as an acid or as a base, depending on the condition of the medium. Okay, sige. Let's start discussing each of the elements under group 5, starting with the element nitrogen. So nitrogen is also known as mephitic air. Mephitic, this term, galing yan sa Latin word na mephitis. Mephitis. Ibig sabihin ng Latin word na to, it is noxious nga vapor. It is poisonous nga vapor. So you can just relate it to their old name na sabi natin. They tend to cause choking. They do not support, kumbaga, life. They do not support respiration. Kasi nagkakause sila ng choking or coughing. So they are said to be noxious nga vapor. Azote, French word siya galing, French word na azotus. Ibig sabihin, without life, lifeless. So, ganun lang din. It doesn't support respiration, it doesn't support life. So, yan yung ibig sabihin ng azotus. Kaya tawag din sa kanya azote. In the Earth's atmosphere, nitrogen is said to be the most abundant gas in the atmosphere, in the air. Most abundant gas ang nitrogen. It makes up 78% of the Earth's atmosphere, and it is followed by oxygen. For its preparation, fractional distillation of liquid air. For its importance, essential siyang a nutrient of plant, a component of proteins, and even amino acids. Bang proteins, it is made up of a carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. So component siya ng amino acids, the monomer units ng proteins, including the biological complex nga macromolecule proteins. For its existence in nature, kindly take note, it is most stable at its diatomic molecule. Di ba? Part siya sa 7 stable diatomic molecule in the air, in the atmosphere. 7 yon yung diatomic molecule. So, parte doon si nitrogen. And additional information, ang mga nitrates and other nitrogen compounds, they can be used as fertilizers. Aside from nitrogen, meron tayong abbreviation dito, yung NPK, fertilizers. Gamit din, or aside from nitrogen na fertilizers, ang phosphorus then is an element, no, na pwede used as fertilizer, component ng fertilizer, and K for potassium. So nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium yan. Okay, and ito, I believe you have an idea already nga at higher doses or elevated na doses ng nitrates or mga nitrite containing na compounds, yan yung gamit for explosives. Okay, additionally, ang gas form of nitrogen gas, meron siyang pharmaceutical use. Ginagamit siya as inert atmosphere for those oxidizable pharmaceuticals. If it is not available, then we have also other inert gases used as atmosphere for oxidizable pharmaceuticals. Yun yung argon. So either of the two can be used as inert atmosphere for oxidizable pharmaceuticals. The liquid form of nitrogen naman, yung use niya is as refrigerant, particularly for cryogenic preservation. So this is the definition of cryogenic preservation, mainly for cooling, storing cells, tissues, organs at a very low or freezing temperature. So that's the use of liquid nitrogen, refrigerant. For its mechanism of toxicity, ang mga nitrates and nitrites, they are said to be potent oxidizing agents, and they cause oxidation of the ferrous or the iron in hemoglobin. Diba, ang hemoglobin, ang meron sa kanya na form of iron is yung ferrous form. So with nitrates being an oxidizing agent, ilahang gina-oxidized yung iron, the ferrous form into ferric. Kaya nabubuo yung methemoglobinemia. Pag sinabing methemoglobin na, yung iron is in ferric form already. Okay, kaya tawag din is ferrihemoglobin. So the antidote could be 1% methylene blue at higher dose. Kasi yung mechanism niya to counteract this problem na kinokos ng nitrates and nitrites, it accelerates the enzymatic production of methemoglobin. So iya lang i-reduced ang form ni ferric. And yung reduced form naman niya is yung ferrous. This is the reduced form. Ito naman yung oxidized form. Okay, so yan yung mechanism naman ng methylene blue to reduce the iron form into ferrous. What else? Regarding the activity of nitrates towards cyanide, kindly add din na it has high affinity to cyanide. High affinity to cyanide. Kaya nga, sa cyanide antidote kit, na ay component diba nga nitrites. Particularly yung sodium nitrite, yung amyl nitrite. Kasi they have higher affinity to cyanide, removing out cyanide in the system. Okay, so component, nitrates used in cyanide poisoning. Antidote, used as antidote for cyanide poisoning. Okay, next. For the important compounds ng nitrogen, although na-mention naman siya, ito yung gas form niya, yung liquid form ng nitrogen. Let's have a recap. Yung nitrogen national formulary, as we recall, tawag din sa kanya is mephitic air. Odorless, colorless gas. It is contained in a color black nga vessel. So yan yung standard nga color code for the vessels, for the containers ng nitrogen gases. And for its stable number of covalent bonds surrounding nitrogen in a compound, ang nitrogen stable form is surrounded with 3 covalent bonds. Yung pang completing the number of electrons surrounding it para it attains octet already, na siya'y isa ka lone pair, one lone pair. So yan yung stable form ng nitrogen in a structure, in a compound. 3 covalent bonds lang ha yung surrounding. Iba naman yung kay carbon, di ba? Si carbon, always man din niya i-share iyahang 4 valence electrons. So, total of 4 covalent bonds naman yung kaya niyang mabuo. Okay, for the uses of nitrogen gas, it's a diluent for oxygen for those sea divers, mga deep sea divers. So, yan yung use niya, diluent for oxygen. However, yung drawbacks is nagko-cause siya ng bends. Bends is also known as decompression sickness. Ito yung pagkakaroon ng bubbles, formation of bubbles in tissues and blood because of the nitrogen's impact sa bloodstream. Ang nangyayari kasi, syempre, deep sea diving man, so pinaka ilalom. Ang tendency mang yun as the diver go deep, as in pinaka malalim na nga area is tumataas yung pressure kung pababa siya. Okay, tumataas yung pressure, so no problem, nadadissolve yung nitrogen sa blood, sa tissues. So sumasama siya, yung nitrogen sa blood, sa tissues, nadadissolve siya kasi with higher pressure. Kasi at higher pressure, di ba, ang gaseous molecules, higher din yung dissolution. So walang problema. However, syempre, mubalik man sa taas ang diver, once rapid siya mo ascend, usaka, paspas pod ang pressure mo naog. Okay? Pag mababa yung pressure, rapid reduction of pressure in the body, hindi na ngayon enough yung time para safely remove out yung nitrogen from the bloodstream. Kaya ang nangyayari, yung way ng pag-remove out ng nitrogen from the bloodstream in a bubble form. Okay? So mag-bubble siya sa blood, sa bloodstream, sa tissues. Kaya tendency pwede siyang makablock, halimbawa sa blood vessels, etc. Hindi man normal kung bubbles nga mahitabo no, sa bloodstream. Okay? Formation of bubbles. So yan yung kumbaga drawback with using nitrogen as diluent for oxygen for sea divers. Kaya replacement para ma-prevent yung bends or decompression sickness, it is replaced with helium. And ito nasabi na to kanina ha, yung liquid nitrogen again is as refrigerant for cryogenic preservation. Ito I know you are familiar with nitrous oxide, USP. This is the chemical formula. This is also known as laughing gas. Tawag sa kanya laughing gas kasi this inhalational anesthetic, once it is inhaled, it can produce a feeling of kanang euphoria sa tao. Nagkakaroon ng relaxation effect siya sa tao. And that could lead spontaneous laughter sa tao. Diba? Pag euphoric, yung sense of feeling ng tao, more on sa positive na mood siya. Okay, so spontaneous ngayon yung laughter. Kaya laughing gas din yung other name niya. Okay, it has something to do with the side effect na kinokos niya whenever it is inhaled. Container color is blue. Kanina, black ha, yung nitrogen. Pure gas is black. Yung nitrous oxide, the laughing gas, is blue. Okay, it is said to be the weakest, least potent inhalational anesthetic. Yung side effect nga lang niya is nagko-cause siya ng diffusion hypoxia. Okay, kumbaga, nangyayari to kapag gina-discontinue following no discontinuation of nitrous oxide. Okay, kapag na-discontinue na kasi siya, it rapidly diffuses mula sa blood into the alveoli ng lungs. Ang tendency, yung pulihan, it will replace those oxygen in the alveoli. Okay? Na supposedly, i-exhale man siya, di ba? Out from the lungs. Okay, so ang nangyayari upon discontinuation ng nitrous oxide, during exhalation, i-exhale na siya. Yung ginagawa niya, it rapidly diffuses into the alveoli ng lungs, causing replacement of the oxygen in the alveoli. Kaya it leads to reduction of oxygen in the blood being absorbed. So diffusion hypoxia. Mababa ngayon yung blood na napupunta sa tissues, sa bloodstream. Okay? So as a prevention, para maiwasan to, yung diffusion hypoxia, we tend to give 100% oxygen good sa patient few minutes after i-discontinue ang nitrous oxide, yung anesthetic na to. Tagaan good ang patient, mga few minutes good after siya i-discontinue, 100% oxygen para maiwasan yung diffusion hypoxia. Okay, that's it. Then nitric oxide, somehow this information inyo na siyang na-review under sa mga nitrate or nitrite containing mga compounds under sa sodium. Nasabi to nga kapag may nitric oxide, it's an endogenous, diba, nga vasodilator, neurotransmitter, and yung action nga niya sa vessels, blood vessel, is vasodilation. Kindly take note, sa pharmacology naman ito na information associated with the mechanism of drugs like sildenafil and nitroglycerin. Kaya yung always na counseling is dapat may interval yung pag-take ng mga nitrovasodilators, mga nitroglycerin halimbawa, or amyl nitrite, or isosorbide dinitrate, or any nitrate containing na mga cardiovascular drugs. Dapat na ay mataas na interval yung pag-take with those phosphodiester 5 inhibitors. Yung action kasi din nila, mga erectogenic kasi ito. Okay? Erectogenic. Di ba sildenafil yung Viagra? For erectile dysfunction na siya. Kasi meron nga siyang activity to cause erection kasi nga napapadilate niya yung blood vessel sa penile tissue. Okay, ito yung mechanism of action niya. So somehow, naa siya resemblance of activity towards the vessels with nitrates. Kasi vasodilators din ang mga nitric oxide. Tapos sinabayan mo pa ng vasodilator ng mga sildenafil, okay, via inhibiting phosphodiesterase 5. So, dual effect. Mangyayari, there could be side effect na severe hypotension. Kapag may vasodilation, hypotension will happen. So, hindi naman siya bawal nga i-take kung ang pasyente no, is maintaining a drug nga for hypertensive, kanang treatment for hypertensive. Hindi siya bawal. Ano lang yun, dapat may interval. Okay, interval. Halimbawa, 6 hours in between, yun yung interval ng pag-take ng mga drugs para maiwasan yung mga side effects na harmful. Okay? Nitrite, ayan din, vasodilator, used as antidote. Ito, sabi na to, no? They have high affinity to cyanide. Ito na lang, kindly add. Ang nitrite nga qualitative analysis. In a sample, we could detect presence of nitrite ion using this test, Gies-Illusve test. So, ito yung component niya, sulfanylic acid with 1-naphthylamine reagent. So, yan yung component ng test na to. And the positive result upon detecting nitrite ion is red color. Nitrate before, ginagamit sila as preservative. Ito lang din yun yung sinabi sa mga sodium compounds na kapag sodium nitrate, potassium nitrate, ginagamit sila before as meat preservative. Pero yun na nga, ngayon hindi na sila ginagamit kasi nga carcinogenic sila. Okay, so kindly take note na lang the difference ng qualitative analysis for nitrate and for nitrite kanina. Nitrite kanina is Gies elucidate test. For nitrate, it's Brown ring test. Pwede din nitrone reagent, lunge test. Yan. Kindly take note of the information under nitrate for qualitative analysis naman ito. Detecting nitrate in a sample in a solution. So brown ring test kapag it involves brown gas. Nitrone reagent if there is a white crystalline precipitate formed. And ito yung component ng nitrone reagent. The most sensitive test for nitrate is lunge test. Okay, then this is a drug, no, a long-acting nitrate, pentaerythritol, tetranitrate. It's a vasodilator class, vasodilator. So it causes reduction of the blood pressure, hypotensive siya. Okay, and then an acid, nitric acid, national formulary. Kindly take note of the standard nga percentage by weight of this acid in aqueous solution. So the standard is 69% to 71% yung concentration ng nitric acid in aqueous solution. So 69 to 71%. Then kindly add yung difference niya with the other common acids. Si hydrochloric acid naman yung standard niya na concentration in aqueous solution. It should be 36 or 36.5, 36 or 36.5 to 38%. Okay, nga na nga range ang standard na concentration nila in aqueous solution. Okay, another is yung boric acid. Ang boric acid naman is 2% to 4%. Yung phosphoric acid, it's 85%. Okay? Kindly take note of that. Again, these are standard na concentration of these acids in aqueous solution. Okay, done with nitrogen. Okay, let's have the second element under group 5. So we have phosphorus. Phosphorus is also known as Saint Elmo's fire. So bakit siya tinawag na Saint Elmo's fire? Kasi nga, yung glow of Saint Elmo's fire, it resembles that of phosphorescence. Okay, phosphorescence. Ito yung light being emitted ng mga materials containing phosphorus when they are exposed to light. Somehow, resemble daw sila of the same light being or glow being emitted. It's a light carrier. Okay, kumbaga, kuan lang siya, term ba? Resembling to phosphorus as an element. It is the 11th most abundant element in the Earth's crust and marami siyang kumbaga importance, essential siya for life, for structural material in higher animals, essential in metabolism, both plants and animals. This is the ion considered as the most abundant, di ba? Most abundant intracellular. Ito yun, intracellular ion. Ito yung mnemonics, di ba? Ficlo. Okay, for the toxicity, that's phosidro. Yung pagkakaroon ng bony necrosis, especially on the mandible bones. Tawag natin doon is phosidro. Yan yung toxicity ng phosphorus. For the uses ng compounds containing phosphorus, cathartics, antacids. Nasabi na to, basta di ba may sulfate, citrate, tartrate, magnesium, they enhance bowel movement. So somehow, may mga compounds containing phosphorus like in a phosphate form na sila'y ability to enhance bowel movement. So cathartics, antacids din. Okay, talking about the allotropes of phosphorus, we have two forms, the red and white. Yun yung common, okay? But we can produce other pag yun nga allotropes if we modify these two forms. So first, let's have the red phosphorus. This is less active form ng phosphorus. Kumbaga siya yung non-poisonous, non-flammable in air. But at higher temperature, syempre, it's already flammable. It's already reactive. Okay? So again ha, non-flammable siya in air, except lang kung high temperature siya na-expose. Syempre, it's a common sense na kung high temperature na-expose yan, it will really cause a source of flame. Then, formed when white phosphorus is heated to 250 degrees Celsius or at lower temp. Okay, so pwede siya mabuo from out of white phosphorus. White phosphorus naman siya yung toxic form, poisonous form ng phosphorus. It is also known as yellow phosphorus. Ang white and yellow phosphorus, they are just the same ha. Nangyari lang is, bakit tinawag siyang yellow din na phosphorus? Kasi whenever the white phosphorus is exposed to light over time, it will develop yellow coloration. Kaya it is also considered yellow phosphorus. So it undergo phosphorescence. When exposed to air, it emits light, greenish light. It gives off white fumes with garlic odor. Okay, what is the, let me ask you, what is the antidote for phosphorus poisoning? Treatment for phosphorus poisoning, yung mga naaral nyo. You can type in the chat box. I will wait ha, kung unsa inyo hang answer. Again ha, yung phosphorus poisoning na treatment. Okay, blue vitriol o cupric sulfate. Sige. Next, out of these two forms, we can produce other allotropes or forms if we modify those, no? Yung red phosphorus ba or white phosphorus. So, we have black or metallic phosphorus. This is produced kapag ang white phosphorus is added with lead and it is heated under high pressure or kumbaga it is exposed kumbaga at higher pressure, 500 to 530 degrees Celsius. So siya yung most stable ha nga allotrope of phosphorus. The one that is used in match phosphoro, yun yung scarlet phosphorus. Okay? So kumbaga it contains lead bromide with mercury at 240 exposed siya at 240 degrees Celsius. Then violet phosphorus naman, white phosphorus din siya galing with sodium and exposed under very high pressure. So yung point natin dito is lahat yan galing lahat sa no, si red phosphorus. Galing those, we can produce more stable, less active, non-poisonous, non-flammable na form of phosphorus. Yun yung mga allotropic. Via implying no, modifications sa iyahang structure. Okay, for the compounds ng phosphorus, marami nang na-mention ng mga compounds sa inyong kumbaga sa mga naaral natin no, before from group 1 to 4 nga elements na mga phosphate containing. I-review lang to ninyo na may pharmaceutical uses, part din sila sa mga important compounds of phosphorus. So majority of them, they are used as antacids kung may phosphate. Cathartics din. And these are insoluble phosphate, magnesium phosphate, strontium phosphate, barium phosphate, calcium phosphate. Then ito nasabi natin kanina, ang phosphoric acid, yung standard concentration niya at aqueous solution is 85%. Hypophosphorus acid, this is used as antioxidant. So kung antioxidant, meaning reducing agent. Okay, so done with the first two elements under group 5. So we have nitrogen and then phosphorus. So third element under group 5, we have arsenic. This is also known as lewisite metal. This is an important component of the historical compound na salvarsan, also known as arsphenamine. Tawag din sa kanya compound 606. And then also magic bullet, diba din yung tawag sa kanya. Yung use na to, salvarsan, compound 606, magic bullet, ginamit siya before. Anti-syphilis. Ginagamit siya for the treatment of syphilis. Syphilis is caused by treponema. palladium, diba? Treponema pallidum. Okay? So, yan yung causative agent. Ginagamit siya before as anti-syphilis, pero hindi na. Ngayon, yung salvarsan na form. Kasi it contains higher concentration of arsenic, and arsenic is a toxic metal, di ba? So, because of its toxicity, hindi na siya ginagamit as anti-syphilis. But we have a useful nga arsenic containing siya nga compound for anti-syphilis, but with lower dose na siya ng arsenic na metal. So, hindi na siya ganoon ka toxic kumpara kay salvarsan, arsphenamine. Okay? So, yung mechanism of toxicity niya, it is able to bind to the thiol group, like the cysteine nga amino acid containing thiol, present yun sa keratin of the nails or the hair. Again, yung thiol that is present in the amino acid cysteine. Ito naman, qualitative test ng arsenic, Gut-Sates test. So, medyo dagan-dagan na, no? Atong na-mention na qualitative analysis for certain elements mula doon kay nitrate, nitrite. Okay, then ito, arsenic Gut-Sates test. Yung positive result nito is forming orange to brownish yellow. Okay, na positive coloration. Okay, sige. Let's have the chemistry ng arsenic na duha ka form no ng arsenic, yung trivalent, arsenic 3+, yung pentavalent, penta 5. So arsenic 5+. So yan. Between the two, ang more toxic is the trivalent. Okay? And it's the trivalent form that is that causes inorganic arsenic toxicity. Okay? And then the one that causes organic arsenic toxicity, it's the pentavalent. Okay, the one that is commonly used as veterinary anthelmintics treatment, halimbawa for amoebiasis, for trypanosomiasis, sa among animals ni siya, yung pentavalent form ng arsenic. So later na atay compound na ma-mention mamaya, isang antihelminth nga containing arsenic compound. So yung arsenic doon na form is in pentavalent arsenic. For the poisoning ng arsenic, this Aldrich sign, yan yung acute poisoning. Nagkakaroon ng white strays in the nails, white patches sa nails. Okay, yung abnormal one. Okay, yan yung Aldrich lines. Then chronic poisoning of arsenic, pagkakaroon ng raindrop. Hyperpigmentation in the torso or extremities. Nagkakaroon ng dark coloration, mga pigment sa katawan. Okay, it's either sa likod, okay, or on the extremities. So yan yung raindrop hyperpigmentation. Chronic na yan na stage of arsenic poisoning. And for the adults natin, first line, yun yung unithiol, yung dimercaprol, propane, sulfonic acid. So mainly, since arsenic is a heavy metal, automatic yun ang antidote or chelating agent. Okay? So mga chelating agent yan lahat, yung mga nakalista. First line, second line, third line. Kindly take note lang of the names, no, na ginagamit as antidote for arsenic poisoning. The water-soluble analog of BAL is the DMPS or unithiol. The second line naman, it is best yung first line, best for acute poisoning. If not available naman, yung unithiol, yung second choice would be the BAL, British anti-Lewisite. Okay, yung dimercaprol or dimercaprol. Third line, once the patient is already stable, then you give oral form of that chelating agent, oral unithiol or oral succimer. Okay, then for the compounds ng arsenic, ito yung Tricenox na brand containing arsenic trioxide. It is an old brand that was reintroduced to USP, excuse me, for the treatment of leukemia. Okay, this is still useful, no? Even sa other country, yung Trisinox. Kasi this form already contains lower or yung therapeutic dose lang, enough dose na arsenic na for anti-leukemic, na merong anti-leukemic property. It's different from the dose na ng Fowler's. Naalala yung sa Fowler's solution. It also contains arsenic, yung potassium arsenite. Ba yun yung Fowler's solution. Nasabi ko doon nga before, it was used as anti-leukemic agent. Okay? Yung solution na yun, yung Fowler solution, higher dosage ng arsenic yung present doon. Okay? Kumpara sa Trisinox. Yung Trisinox, yung na-reintroduce to USP, it now contains enough, yung therapeutic dose lang, much lower siya than the typically administered before na Fowler solution for anti-leukemia. Okay, so yan yung Trisinox. Contained siya with arsenic trioxide given intravenous together with tretinoin. Tretinoin, that is a kumbaga degradation product of vitamin A, yung retinol. Okay, galing yan sa vitamin A, yung tretinoin. Primary standard for steric sulfate, and it has rodenticide nga activity. Pag arsenic, poisonous man siya at higher dose. So, pwede siya as poison for rodents, rats, ants. Yan. And these are other preparations containing arsenic. Paris green, Donovan solution, and yun nga, yung Fowler solution. Ito, nasabi na to kanina. Fowler solution containing potassium arsenite. Paris green, Donovan solution again. They contain arsenic. Ito in a form of copper acetoarsenite. Ito naman is arsenic triiodide with mercuric iodide. Okay, so yan yung component ng Donovan solution. And the most toxic form of arsenic is arsine. So mainly among the list, yung merong clinically use, yung may clinical use is yung Trisinox, yung arsenic trioxide form compound ng arsenic. Okay, so we have discussed the three elements no, under group 5. We have nitrogen, phosphorus, and arsenic. Okay, proceed with the fourth. Fourth group, fourth element under group 5A is antimony. Now, yung antimony has also two forms. Or two ionic forms. The trivalent, same sa arsenic, the trivalent and the pentavalent. Okay, so that's for antimony. More toxic again ha, yung trivalent, same kanina sa arsenic. Both of them, they are used as anti-protozoal agent, used as emetics, treatment for certain helminth infections. Yun nga lang, ang more active against protozoa is the pentavalent. While yung trivalent, it is more active, more useful against helminths. So those are the two forms ng antimony. This is also known as this comes from the word rather stibium, Latin word stibium. Kaya yung elemental symbol niya is S and then B. So yan yung antimony. Ito naman qualitative analysis ito. In the presence of rhodamine B with hydrochloric acid, it forms violet precipitate. Ayan yung kumaga pwede siyang confirmatory testing for the presence of antimony in a sample in a solution. Kuha ka lang ng solution of rhodamine B with HCl, you try to add a few drops sa sample nga ni antimony, then it will produce violet precipitate. Indicator yan na na-detect niya antimony in that sample. Ito natural source in the environment. ng antimony is yung stibnite antimony glands. For the pharmacological action ng mga antimony-containing compounds, they are used as anthelmintic, emetic, expectorant. Ito lang din yun, anthelmintic, emetic. Then for the allotropes ng antimony, kindly take note, the most stable, unstable, the less stable, and the one that is easily converted to black allotrope. So yan yung mga allotropes ng antimony. Most stable is the metallic, unstable is the amorphous. Less stable than metallic is yung black antimony. Okay, sige, let's proceed with the important compounds ng antimony. Konti lang yung important, yung may pharmaceutical use talaga na compound ng antimony. So you have there, okay, next slide, ayan. Antimony potassium tartrate, USP. This is also known as tartar emetic, but no longer used na siya. Although meron nga siyang pharmaceutical use, but that was before. Okay, hindi na siya ginagamit ngayon as emetic because it is toxic. Okay, so that's the reason. So toxic na siya, poisonous na siya, then hindi na siya tolerated na gamitin pa. So emetic siya, expectorant in brown mixture before ginagamit as drug of choice for the treatment of schistosomiasis. Okay, then for the alloys, pag ganito na mga information, sa independent study time na ninyo siya i-memorize, basta nga ani, di ba? It's already your turn na mag-memorize pag ing-ani ng mga information. Babic metal, it contains this percentage ng element. Pag anti-friction metal, ito yung components. Toxic form of antimony is stibine. Yung sa arsenic is arsine. Toxic form of arsenic, arsine. For antimony, stibine. Okay, then last element under group 5A is bismuth, also known as beautiful meadow. It will not react with acids to produce hydrogen. Kasi na-mention natin kanina, di ba? Metallic yung property niya. That's why when it reacts with, let's say, it's oxide, yung oxide niya, when it reacts with water, it will really form base solution. Okay, so it doesn't produce hydrogen kasi nga basic yung character. Meron ang bismuth being having a property nga metallic siya. Nasa on the list, nasa sa bottom part ng group 5A. So metallic yung property ng bismuth. Use good with compound sa pharmaceutical field, sa pharmacy. May mga compounds niya ginagamit as antacid yun. Internal protective for ulcer. Yung type of ulcer particularly is yung ulcer that is caused by a bacteria. Kasi dagan man ta klase ng triggers, bakit nagkakaroon ng ulcer yung tao. Pwede siya because of the habitual act. So, pero magpapas mo ang tao, pwedeng yun ang reason. Pwede din drug-induced dahil sa gamot, nagkaroon siya ng ulcer. Yun yung drug-induced. Naapod tayo mga bacteria-induced na ulcer. So, kung H. pylori ang cause ng ulcer, one of the best given to patient as internal protective sa iyang lining ng stomach is yung bismuth containing. Okay, so naatay, later ma-mention, ma-recall natin ano yung halimbawa ng bismuth containing compounds used as internal protective for ulcerous na stomach. For effects ng bismuth, it forms color black, dark black stool. Kasi tendency with bismuth, nagre-react siya with the hydrogen sulfide gas in the intestine. Forming now bismuth sulfide, and diba, as we recall, all sulfides are black. Okay? So bismuth sulfide na siya dark nga color na na-induce. Okay? So somehow na siya dark coloration sa iyahang stool. Then blue-black gums is also one of the side effect with bismuth. And the antidote, kasi heavy metal man ito, chelating agent pa rin. Ayan. Ito yung mga important compounds ng bismuth. Sige, let's start with pyrrolene. So as the name of the brand no ng bismuth citrate, we could really tell nga it's counteracting ulcer type na caused by pylori, H. pylori. So it contains ranitidine, an H2 blocker, and bismuth citrate. So mainly for the treatment talaga ng ulcer caused by a bacteria, H. pylori. Ang milk of bismuth naman, this is also known as bismuth magma, bismuth cream. It contains bismuth subcarbonate and also bismuth hydroxide in suspension of water. So yan yung component niya. And its primary use, ganun lang din, it's for the treatment. It is an antacid, an internal protective for ulcer. It can inhibit growth of H. pylori. Okay, ito nasabi na to kanina, bismuth subcarbonate. It is generated in situ in milk of bismuth. Kumbaga, napoproduce itong compound na yan out of milk bismuth itself, milk of bismuth itself. Kapag na-administer, kumbaga, ang milk of bismuth, in the GIT, nagre-react siya with the carbonate ions in the intestine, forming bismuth subcarbonate. So, yan yung ibig sabihin ng in situ. Generated in situ by milk of bismuth. Siya na din mismo si milk of bismuth ang makapag-generate no, alone within that medium. Napoproduce din si bismuth subcarbonate. Potential din. Kaya niyang mag-produce ng compound na to. Okay, so antacid, stringent, antiseptic. Bismuth subnitrate. So these are the other names. And sabi dito, it's a necessity also in milk of bismuth. So aside pala sa bismuth subcarbonate, bismuth hydroxide, it's also a necessity component in for kumbaga mag-prepare for preparation ng milk of bismuth USP. Bismuth subsalicylate, treatment for traveler's diarrhea, particularly, meron siyang anti-diarrheal effect. Specifically, it shows good activity against the bacteria Salmonella. Okay? Yung traveler's diarrhea na caused by Salmonella, yun yung higher activity niya, being an anti-diarrhea, counteracting against Salmonella ng bacteria. But lesser naman yung activity niya with E. coli. Okay, so those are the important compounds ng bismuth. So mainly, kung inyo siyang i-generalize, more on antacid siya, internal protective for ulcerous nga stomach lining. And yung ulcer type na pwedeng highly recommended ang bismuth containing compounds is yung caused by H. pylori. Okay, so we finished discussing elements under group 5A. You have there yung nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, and ito, bismuth. So kindly take note of those, ha? And yung mga pharmaceutically important compounds in each element under group 5A. For group 5B, the vanadium subgroup, ang pinaka-useful dito na element is yung tantalum, yung may, kumbaga, clinical use. It is used in recent years as in surgical repair of large abdominal hernias, used as sheet form for surgical repair of bones. Kasi pwede siyang gamiting implant purposes kasi it doesn't affect inert siya. It doesn't cause any altering na reaction sa body fluids. Unaffected at all yung body fluids once it is implanted sa katawan. Kaya pwede siya gamitin as for surgical repair, bones, abdominal hernias, nerves, and tissues. So yan yung use ng tantalum. So done with group 5 elements. So we'll proceed with the next group properties of the elements naman under group 6A or sila naman yung group 16 elements. These are the chalcogens. Yan yung chalcogens, oxygen family. So we have the following: oxygens, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium. Okay? Yung pnictogen, yun yung nitrogen family. Chalcogens, oxygen family. Okay, let's start with oxygen. Oxygen is also known as acid former, also named as the following by the different scientists, no? Sorry, ayan. But according to Carl Scheele, he was able to name oxygen as imperial air. Si Joseph Priestley naman yung nag-coined ng term dephlogisticated air. And the one who finally named this element as oxygen is yung si Antoine Lavoisier. Okay, so sila yung mga nag-contribute sa pangalan ng element na to, yung oxygen. So you know this already, yung most abundant element on Earth, it's oxygen. The second most electronegative atom next to fluorine. So after fluorine, diba si oxygen, and followed by nitrogen. So second most electronegative atom siya, based on electronegativity. And meron siyang 3 stable isotopes with a mass number of 16, 17, and 18. So additionally, this gas has the following characteristics, physical characteristics: odorless, colorless, tasteless gas. And these are the allotropes ng oxygen. The nascent oxygen, monoatomic. The molecular oxygen is the diatomic. The poisonous gas, yung ozone, is triatomic. Those are the forms of oxygen. Uses, yes, pwede siya treatment kapag may hypoxia nga condition. Pag mababa yung oxygen sa delivered no sa tissues. Okay? Kapag sinabing asphyxia, ito yung condition na mababa din yung oxygen in the tissues, but at the same time, mataas yung carbon dioxide. Okay? Kumbaga nagkakaroon ng suffocation with carbon dioxide in the lungs. Okay? So, that's the difference. But yung commonality nila, nagkakaroon ng lack of oxygen, deficient yung oxygen. Okay? So, as a treatment for these conditions, we need to give 100% oxygen, hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Container of oxygen gas, color ng container is green. Okay, and then for the manufacturing or production, how do we manufacture oxygen? How do we obtain oxygen? We have this kumbaga production method ng oxygen via Lindell-Frank. We could obtain not less than 99% purity ng oxygen via fractionation of liquid air. Then with the use of molecular sieves, we could obtain about 93% purity of oxygen. So, between the two, meron pang mga impurities nga possible or kumbaga marami pang expected nga impurities upon obtaining oxygen is ito with the use of molecular sieves kay 93% purity raman ang ma-obtain. So with that, this requires the following purifying test. It requires carbon dioxide test, carbon monoxide test pa. Okay, if again, ang oxygen is being obtained out of this production method, yung with the use of molecular sieve process. But with Lindell-Frank process, exempted na siya with these purification testing. Ito nasabi na to, hyperbaric therapy is 100% oxygen therapy. Pwede siya for the treatment for decompression sickness, Ito yung nasabi ko kanina, yung sa nitrogen, kapag ang nitrogen gas ginamit as diluent for oxygen among deep sea diving purposes, di ba nagkakos siya ng bends, yung decompression sickness. So, with that, ang isa sa pwedeng, kumbaga, treatment is hyperbaric therapy, 100% oxygen. Now, the following on the list, these are examples of conditions na deficient yung oxygen supply. So kumbaga, as an intervention or management, kailangan mag-supply dito ng oxygen. So these are the conditions that highly require oxygen. So kapag may anoxia, kasi ang nangyayari dito, ang oxygen supply sa tissues inadequate. Pag anemia, yung oxygen dito, although it's normal, but yung hemoglobin is inadequate. So, pwede din later on, ma-affect yung level ng oxygen. Kasi saan ba dumidikit yung oxygen? Sino ba yung oxygen carrier ng blood? Diba? It's the hemoglobin. So, on a, kumbaga, latter nga side effect, kapag inadequate ang hemoglobin, it will also affect later on the level of oxygen. Ito, ang general circulation is interfered kapag stagnant. Then histotoxicity, cellular respiration here is interfered. Example, yung kinukos na toxicity ng cyanide. So, di ba yung cyanide, yung target nga enzyme is yung cytochrome oxidase. So, yung cellular respiration is being interfered then. So, that's an example of histotoxicity. And that condition requires oxygen. Ito, kindly take note na lang, industrial uses lang po yan ng oxygen. Industrial uses ng oxygen. Okay, ozone. Ozone is, di ba, ang ozone has 3 parts ng oxygen, triatomic. So this is considered highly or more powerful siya nga oxidizing agent than the molecular oxygen. Stable siya at low temperature, but at higher temperature, it decomposes. The decomposition niya is very rapid in acidic solution, but very stable siya at alkaline solution. So for the production method ng ozone, kanina yung sinabi natin na Lindell-Frank process, yung with the use of molecular sheaves, that's for oxygen na production method. This one is for ozone a production method. We call it Welsbach method. That's one of the production method ng ozone. But then, it may be produced in small quantities by various chemical reaction or may be produced via UV irradiation of oxygen. So these are the 3 possible ways ng production method of ozone. And for the identification test ng ozone, pwedeng via determining its odor characteristic, garlicky odor yung ozone, or with the use of potassium iodide ng mga testing with starch, potassium iodide, or potassium iodide litmus paper. Then these are the positive results. Mga indicator ba? Nga positive, may ozone. Okay, so yan yung identification test, confirmatory test for the presence of ozone. And for its uses, since, yun na nga, di ba, it's an oxidizing agent, a powerful oxidizing agent. So, yung action niya may kinalaman sa kanyang property, being an oxidizing agent. Pwede siya gamitin as bleaching agent, disinfectant. Okay, so that's for ozone. For ozone, and then we're done with oxygen. It's the first element under group 6A. So, second element naman ng group 6A is sulfur. Sulfur, this comes from the word sufra. Ibig sabihin, yellow. Kaya nga, di ba, yung sulfur, usually color yellow pag may sulfur containing yung entity, material, or sulfur powder alone, di ba, it's color yellow. This is also known as shoalberry. Ibig sabihin ng shoalberry, enemy of copper. Ito siya. Term din to, Sanskrit nga word. ibig sabihin niya enemy of copper. Ibig sabihin yung sulfur, it does not react at all with copper. Okay, it does not react at all with copper. So enemy of copper. Brimstone, it means burning stone. Burning stone. So yan yung kumbaga other terminologies, names we could resemble with sulfur. Manufacturing production for sulfur, we call it fresh process, or how it is being obtained, fresh process. And these are the pharmacological uses ng mga sulfur-containing compounds. May mga compounds of sulfur used as carbacidal, keratolytic ointment. Pag sinabi keratolytic, it removes unwanted nga mga outer layer ng skin. Halimbawa ka nang na ay warts, na ay corns, no? So yan yung, again ha, merong, kumbaga yan yung mga agents na may ability to remove unwanted na outer layer of the skin. Layer of skin, like yung nga, pagkakaroon ng warts. Pag sinabing, ito, you know this already, bug stimulant cathartic, meaning, yung way ng pag-enhance niya sa bowel movement is, it is able to stimulate or increases the contraction of the intestinal wall. Okay, so enhanced ngayon, stimulated ngayon yung contraction ng intestinal wall. That's why enhanced ngayon yung bowel movement. So that's a stimulant cathartic. Depilatory kapag removal of hair, ang mga unwanted hair. Okay, removal of unwanted hair. Fumigant, it's equivalent to used as pesticide. Maurag na siya. Kuan lang siya in a form of fumes. Nagre-release ng fumes to cause disinfection, to cause pesticidal nga effect. Then anti-dandruff, anti-seborrheic activity. And here are the forms ng sulfur. Marami, no? Marami siyang forms. We have the alpha sulfur or rhombic sulfur. That's the most stable, the most common. Example na merong ganitong form ng sulfur are the following. Milk of sulfur, flour of sulfur, roll sulfur. Yung beta sulfur is less dense than alpha sulfur. Yung gamma sulfur naman, it's also known as the mother of pearl sulfur. And the liquid of sulfur, example dito is yung amorphous sulfur. Kumbaga, it is simply prepared from the alpha sulfur. Galing lang siya dito. Heated at 160 degrees Celsius, and it has been rapidly cooled. So that's liquid sulfur. Again, yung most stable, most common is the rhombic or alpha sulfur. Other forms of sulfur are the following. We have the precipitated. The most common here are yung first two in bold fonts. So we have precipitated sulfur lac, also known as lac sulfur, milk sulfur. They have fine, very fine particles used as scabicide. They prevent growth of scabies. So scabicidal yung effect niya. Sublime sulfur, ito yung flower of sulfur. Ito naman parasiticide, scabicide, cathartic effect. Ito yung may coarse particles. This one is fine yung particles. Pag sublime, coarse yung particles naman. Yeah, yung texture. And this is the one used in the preparation of Fleming solution. So yung Fleming solution, combination yan ng lime, calcium oxide with sublimed sulfur. And these are the natural sources of sulfur. How sulfur is obtained naturally in the environment. Natural sources, brimstone, gypsum, galena. Gypsum, yan yung calcium sulfate, diba tama? Yung dehydrated form. Yung galena naman is lead sulfide. Okay. For the compounds of sulfur, we have sulfur dioxide. It's an antioxidant, ayan. Antioxidant, reducing agent. It is the one that is used in the manufacture of the strong acid sulfuric acid. And an identification test for sulfur dioxide is this one, using of an acidified potassium dichromate. It turns the filter paper color green. That's a positive indicator, identifying sulfur dioxide. Sulfuric acid, this is the most common dehydrating agent in chemical reaction, in organic chemical reaction, yung ginagamit na dehydrating agent is sulfuric acid. Iba naman yung sodium sulfate, yung Glober salt drying. Drying agent siya sa organic solution alone. Example, the goal of the uh, procedure na sinabi is we have to remove out the water in that sample. May mga water traces pa siya after filtering out. Naa pa siya water traces nga gusto na to remove out, then you can use sodium sulfate. Okay, added siya. Then slowly swirl yung container. Na natin ma-filter out yung solution again kasi matatrap yung water traces doon sa powder ng sodium sulfate, Glober salt. Yung sulfuric acid, ginagamit siya more likely sa mga kanang organic reactions ng alcohol. If there are dehydration reactions alcohol, we could make use of sulfuric acid. Okay, and usually yung product kapag dehydration reaction ng alcohol is an alkene. Alkene yung product. We'll discuss more of that sa organic na chemistry. So for now, just know, recall natin nga sulfuric acid is a dehydrating agent for organic chemistry. Sulfide, this has a rotten egg-like na odor. Sobrang mabaho, unpleasant odor. So, highly toxic, colorless gas. Ginagamit ito as precipitating agent, diba, sa mga group 2 and group 3 cations. Kung group 2, cations, sila yung mga acid insoluble sulfides. So, kumbaga, pwede ito gamitin, but the environment should be. Kung group 3 cations, sila yung mga base insoluble sulfides. So, pwede ito ulit gamitin, and the environment should be basic. Okay, so done with sulfur. Okay, the third element under group 6, we have selenium. Selenium is also known as selena, moon, essential trace element in our body. Kumbaga, important siya sa katawan in small amounts only. Rare element found in nature, and it could be available, present, existent siya in nature, associated with sulfides, sulfur sulfides. In our body, very essential siya kasi it promotes absorption of vitamin E. Being an essential trace element, it's a regulator. It promotes regulation as well, no, ng enzymes. Glutathione peroxidase enzyme. So yan yung kumbaga cofactor to activate glutathione peroxidase enzyme in the body, then selenium is needed. And mainly this is used as an antioxidant. For its allotropes forms of selenium, you have the red selenium and gray selenium. Between the two, the most thermodynamically stable is yung gray selenium, consisting of unbranched helical chains. And then for the important compounds ng selenium ni siya class, kindly correct na lang, but selenium, you have selsun blue, active component ng selsun blue is selenium sulfide, containing 2.5% of this selenium compound, and it is used as anti-seborrheic agent. Then, yung selenic acid na mention ito under sa gold, no? Yung coinage metal na gold. The only single acid that can dissolve gold. That's it. And then this on the list, ginagamit as anti-dandruff. Ito particularly, yung ginagamit as anti-seborrheic agent, yung last two. Then the rest na nasa taas are important form of, kumbaga, form of compounds ng selenium to supply replenish, no? Selenium, lacking nga selenium in the body. Kung deficient ang selenium, mababa yung level ng trace element nito sa body, and we could supply that with this injection, yung selenous acid injection USP. Then we also have other selenium compounds na ginagamit for serography ng photocopying na process and photoelectric cells. So yan yung other selenium compounds. And finally, group 6 pa din to ha, nga elements, a radioactive metal, yung polonium. This element is produced upon radioactive decay of uranium. Halimbawa, if it undergoes alpha decay or beta decay, no, 'di ba, it transforms to another uranium. If it undergoes a potentially pwede siya maka-produce ng other radioactive metal, and that is polonium. So that's it for group 6A element. So far, we were able to discuss group 5, review on group 5A and group 6A elements. Under 6A, you have there oxygen, sulfur, and then we have selenium and polonium. Polonium has no pharmaceutical uses. Okay, let's proceed with 6B elements, or the chromium subgroup. So these are the members: chromium, molybdenum, tungsten, and uranium. Let's start with chromium. Review natin. Ang chromium's natural sources, it could be in a form of, available siya in the environment, no? As chromite or as ochre. So yan yung natural sources ng chromium. So merong chromium sa mismong mineral na yan. Chromium is an essential trace element as well. So same with selenium. Yung use naman ni chromium, essential siya sa katawan because it acts as the glucose tolerance factor. Ibig sabihin, it is able to maintain glucose metabolism simply by enhancing, where is it? Ayan. Able siya mag-enhance ng insulin sensitivity. Or yung insulin activity. So yan yung use niya. Again, it is the one that maintains glucose metabolism by enhancing insulin sensitivity sa katawan or enhancing insulin activity. Kasi diba with insulin, ang nangyayari ngayon sa blood sugar level, controlled. Okay, yung blood sugar level is controlled kasi insulin is an important hormone to control, to regulate, to lower blood sugar level. So yan yung kumbaga action ng chromium being a glucose tolerance factor. So kung deficient siya sa katawan, deficient yung essential element nito, affected ngayon yung action, activity ni insulin. If it alters then the activity of insulin, then hindi na ngayon kontrolado yung level ng blood sugar. Kaya magkakaroon ng hyperglycemia. So that's the deficiency na pwedeng ma-cause kapag mababa yung chromium sa katawan. Okay, for the compounds containing chromium, we have this two, potassium dichromate, ayan, potassium dichromate and yung potassium chromate. Both are actually used as oxidizing agent, but the one that is commonly used for its powerful oxidizing effect is yung the dichromate. Kasi syempre, yung chromate alone, 'di ba, 4 lang po yung parts meron oxygen kapag chromate. Okay? So with dichromate, there are 7 parts of oxygen. So more powerful oxidizing agent siya, more powerful source of oxygen to cause oxidation. So pwede siya gamitin in oxidation reaction. So that's potassium dichromate. Color orange ni siya, as you could recall sa mga laboratory tests na inyo na-conduct. Ang potassium dichromate is color yellow. Ang potassium chromate naman is color orange. Ang potassium chromate is color yellow. Ang dichromate is color orange. Okay? So, kindly take note of the color nila in aqueous solution. And then, molybdenum, another essential trace element. Okay? Cofactor for those flavin-dependent enzymes, and even an important component of these enzymes, yung xanthine oxidase and aldehyde oxidase. And for its identification test, we have molybdenum blue test. It contains molybdenum. Kumbaga sa reagent na gagamitin for this test, it contains molybdenum. And ginagamit yung test na ito as sensitivity test for those substances, reducing substances. Okay, so yan yung use naman ng molybdenum blue test. Natural sources ito ng molybdenum. Mga minerals, natural minerals in the environment that contains molybdenum. Luteinite, powellite, molybdenite. Okay, and then finally, yung uranium. This was discovered by Henry Becquerel, a radioactive element, but it has no pharmaceutical use. So we'll just move on, no? Kasi wala naman siyang pharmaceutical use. Ito din, yung tungsten, wala din pharmaceutical use. So, ano lang, let's try to recall, no? Bakit ba W yung elemental symbol ng tungsten? Kasi yung tungsten, it is mainly found in nature through this mineral. Yung mineral is wolframite. Kaya, which ang wolframite, galing siya sa term na wolfram. Okay? So, yan yung reason bakit ang tungsten, it has an elemental symbol nga W kasi it is mainly obtained sa nature in a form of the mineral nga wolframite. And wala siyang pharmaceutical use. Okay? So that's it for group 6. Group 6 nga mga elements. 6A, yun yung oxygen family, chalcogens. And then done also with group 5, the nitrogen family. Okay, let's proceed. Kasi tama naman po 4 kasi 3 hours. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Kaya konti na lang. So we'll have group 7A, or also known as group 17 elements. These are the halogens. Kung ang oxygen are acid former sila kasi when you check oxygen-rich na mga compounds, ang mga oxygen-rich compounds, kapag i-dissolve sila sa water, they tend to form acids. Kaya acid former ang mga oxygen. Okay? Ito naman, salt former ang mga halogens kasi when they react with metals, they form salts, water-soluble salts. So yun naman yung characteristics ng mga halogens. So they are, again, combined, mixed with metals, they form salts. Based on electronegativity order, ang electronegativity, di ba, based on periodic trend, going up, increasing ang electronegativity. So most electronegative is fluorine, followed by chlorine, bromine, iodine. For the elements lang under group 7A halogens. But in the periodic table of elements, The list of most electronegative atom. Ang pinaka-most electronegative, ang arrangement is fluorine being the most electronegative, followed by oxygen, followed by nitrogen, and then equally sila. Equal value yung electronegativity ni nitrogen at saka chlorine. I think it's 3.0. Yan yung electronegativity. Si fluorine, it's 4.0. Kaya most electronegative siya nga element. Oxygen, 3.5 na yung electronegativity. Yan naman, yung mga most electronegative elements sa periodic table. But dito, kung halogens alone, okay, then we could tell yung mga nasa taas would be the most electronegative. Based on acidity naman, ito yung arrangement. Decreasing ito na arrangement, decreasing yung acidic property nila. How do we define ba acidity? Pag sinabing acidity, kapag ang acid compound easily releases proton. Okay, or hydrogen ion. That's how we defined being a strong acid. Again, acidic ang usa ka compound, di ba? Kung able siya mag-release og proton. Proton donor. Yan yung acid. Kung strong acid siya, we could define it if easily, rapidly maka-release siya og proton. That is being a strong acid. Ang paspas, iyahang pag-let go sa hydrogen. So based sa ani nga order, ang pinaka-strong nga acid dito is si hydroiodic acid. Decreasing man nga order. So ang pinaka-least acidic, tama no? Least acidic, si hydrofluoric acid. Ito naman, most acidic. Kasi nga, sabi sa label, this is based on decreasing acidity. Okay, why is it si hydroiodic ang most acidic sa order? You go back sa list ng electronegativity. Si iodine is said to be least electronegative. Okay, so being least electronegative, yung attraction niya, okay, attraction ni iodine or yung pull, di ba? That's how we define electronegativity. Ability to attract, ability to pull electrons towards itself. So yung pag-attract niya ng electrons galing from hydrogen towards itself, weaker. Okay, weaker yung attraction. Kasi nga, least electronegative yung iodine. So, kung weaker yung attraction dyan, madali lang siyang ma-break ang bond. So, kung madali siyang ma-break, then easily niya ma-release ang hydrogen. Kung easy niya ma-release ang proton, then that is a good acidic property, good property na we could identify nga strong acid siya. Kumpara kay hydrofluoric acid, ingon ta si fluorine, highly electronegative. So, grabe gud siya mo pull, attract og electrons towards itself. So, yung bond length dira, shorter ang bond length. The shorter the bond length, lisod po na siya ma-break ang bond. Okay? So, least acidic naman yung hydrofluoric acid. Lesser yung, kumbaga, ability niya to release proton. Kay grabe man siya mo attract og electrons. No? Kung asa siya nakadikit. So, nakadikit man yan kay proton. So, maglisod yun ta og let go kay proton, kay grabe ka electronegative si fluorine. So, that's the order ha. Do not be confused unsay pasabot ana nga arrangement. Sige, it has something to do with the electronegativity ng mga halogens. Sige, ito mabilis lang to, yung mga properties ng mga halogens. Fluorine, it's also known as superhalogen kasi nga it's the strongest, the most electronegative na element. Strongest oxidizing agent, ito nasabi na to, most electronegative element, 4 ang iyahang electronegativity value, followed by oxygen, 3.5. Characteristic color ng gas, pale yellow. And yung mga fluorine compounds, sabi na to, you know this, anti-carcinogenic, they prevent dental caries. Anti-carcinogenic. Halimbawa, sodium monofluorophosphate, the primary component diba ng toothpaste. Ito, identification test for fluorine is glass etching test using calcium fluoride. Ito, poisoning, you know this already. Poisoning with fluorine, fluorosis, yung mottled enamel. And then, ito din, nasabi na itong in compound and sodium compound, diba? At 2% concentration of sodium fluoride, anti-carcinogenic. Stannous fluoride at 8%, anti-carcinogenic siya. Then the dichloro-difluoromethane, it's a refrigerant. Freon, kanang sa aircon. Yun yung component. So may fluorine also. It's not pharmaceutically important already. No more on sa industrial ni siya. Kanang number 3. Next, chlorine. Yung characteristic color niya, kung kanina pale yellow gas, ito naman greenish yellow gas. Suffocating, unpleasant odor, astringent yung taste niya. Most abundant, ito yung ficlo, uricol, mnemonics, ficlo, chloride out. The most abundant extracellular anion, and it was named as the following. Dephlogisticated muriatic acid by Scheele, oxygenized muriatic acid by Berthollet, and the one who termed chlorine and even bromine and iodine was Davy. Okay, so ang mga chlorine compounds, they exist in a form of chlorides. Okay, example, potassium chloride, sodium chloride. Available itong chlorine compound in chloride form. Ito na-mention ko to kanina, no? Yung standard na concentration of hydrochloric acid in aqueous solution. It's 36 or 36.5 to 38% weight by volume. Yung news niya, toilet bowl cleaner, di ba? Muriatic acid. Panglimpyo, di ba ni siya? Kasi this is highly corrosive. Okay. So, yung uses niya. Diluted naman na form is used in the treatment of achlorhydria. If there is already absence of hydrochloric acid in the stomach, then we have preparations na diluted hydrochloric acid. And this is the standard concentration kapag diluted hydrochloric acid. And then, what else? Ito, sa group 1 cations, let's recall. Ang mga group 1 cations, diba sila yung acid insoluble chlorides or insoluble chloride group or insoluble chloride groups. Kumbaga, yung merciless, yung mercury, silver, and lead, they tend to form precipitate in the presence of chloride. So, with the use of HCl, halimbawa, so kaya may nakalagay dyan, ginagamit ang concentrated hydrochloric acid to differentiate group 1 cations. Next, mga chloride of salts ng sodium, potassium, and calcium. Ito, nasabi na din to. Yung sa Ringer solution, diba? Ang chloride content doon are sodium chloride, potassium chloride, calcium chloride. Lactated Ringer solution, may dagdag lang na sodium lactate. Okay? So, done with the first two. Ang third is bromine. Diba? Tapos na sa fluorine, chlorine, then sunod, bromine. Ang bromine naman, color niya is, characteristic color ng liquid is dark reddish brown. Dark reddish brown, fuming liquid, suffocating odor. It has high vapor pressure. And, tingnan, ito, na-mention na gid ni siya class. Bromide ion, diba? Pag may bromide, ang salt, example, sodium bromide, potassium bromide, ammonium bromide, they could be used as prophylaxis or treatment for bipolar disorder. So, they possess They somehow possess depressant activity, sedative activity. And then this one, kani sila, kung ano siya, kanang identification test for bromine. Yung kinalizarine reagent, this is a reagent used to differentiate magnesium and beryllium, and it contains bromine. Okay, and then kapag in contact with the skin, yung bromine, you simply wash it immediately with a solution containing the following: glycerin or sodium bicarbonate. Okay, the 3 bromides elixir, which contains or which exhibits the present activity, sedative activity, yung sodium bromide, potassium bromide, and ammonium bromide. Again, yung merong activity yan sila hanga sedative, they possess sedative activity or depressant activity. Poisoning is known as bromism, and yung antidote dito is sodium chloride and ammonium chloride. Ito, the compounds of bromine, yung may clinical use dito on the list is yung number 2, potassium bromide, sodium bromide, USP, prophylaxis treatment for bipolar disorder and manic attacks. Ito is analysis 1 siya, yung regarding sa titration assays of compounds. We have a solution containing bromine at 10th normal solution. Ginagamit siya for the assay of phenol. Okay, Pastur's solution. Iodine has a characteristic grayish-black coloration and penetrating din yung odor niya. And it was isolated via sublimation process, sulfuric acid with seaweed ash. So that's the, kumbaga, used na, kumbaga, source. What is being used sa sublimation to isolate iodine. So galing yung iodine sa seaweed ash reacted with sulfuric acid. It's the most metallic of all halogen, except astatine. Kung i-except ang astatine, si iodine ang most metallic. Kung sa choices, kumbaga ba, which among the halogens are most metallic, wala si astatine on the choices, then the best answer is iodine. Pero kung na si astatine sa choices, syempre astatine would be the most metallic under halogen na elements. Present siya in thyroid gland. Kaya nga pag merong, kumbaga, sa thyroid gland, secretion, kumbaga, marami, kumbaga, ang thyroid gland is problematic. Pwedeng magkaroon ng pagtaas ng iodine content. We call that iodism. Antidote would be starch, kasi with starch, it is able to form complex with iodine, removing out iodine from the system, or sodium thiosulfate as well. This concentration is the one that is effective to combat many bacteria in distilled water. So 1:5,000. So yan yung iodine concentration. Effective, no? Para mag-counteract o para meron siya antibacterial effect, in short, okay? Effective antibacterial activity when iodine is dissolved in distilled water. Ito yung concentration, 1:5,000. And these are the compounds of iodine na merong mainly disinfectant yung use niya. Antiseptic, disinfectant. Yan, Lugol solution, iodine tincture. Ito, potassium iodide solubilizer, man ito sila, di ba? Iodine solubilizer. Solubilizer. Ito, antiseptic. May 10% iodine, antiseptic yan. And then the rest, okay, they exhibit antiseptic, and disinfectant activity. The most acidic among the acids of halogen, of course, it's the hydroiodic acid. We mentioned that sa first slide under halogen. And finally, astatine, it's the metallic halogen, a radioactive one, and synthetically produced yung astatine. It resembles characteristics ng iodine and no pharmaceutical uses at all. Okay, before we proceed with group 7B na elements, kindly take note of this regarding, although na-mention naman niya siya sa Gen Chem, regarding the names. How do we derive names of acids out of the ions chlorine, bromine, and iodine, anion form? Form nila, diba? It ends with "-ide", example, chloride. And chloride is Cl negative. If it ends with IDE, then yung name of acid niya should be, yung IDE should be replaced with ic acid and added with the prefix hydro, kaya magiging hydrochloric acid. And then, kapag acid name from the common oxy-anion form ng element, halimbawa, the common oxy-anion form of chlorine, diba, is chlorate, ClO, ayan, ClO3 negative. The derivation acid name would be changing the 8 ending into ic acid. Kaya yung chloride would be HClO3 negative. Okay, then from chlorate, if we wanted to obtain the ite form, the halite form, then that's chlorite, one less oxygen lang, so ClO2 negative. The acid derivation name would be changing the into ous acid. So that would be from chlorite, may mo siya chlorous acid. So chlorous acid is HCl2. Wala na yang negative. Sorry for that. Kaya nag-crisscross. I-crisscross naman nato ang ilahang values ng charges. Ayan. And then, out of the ite form, pwede pa one less oxygen from the ite form. May mo na siya hypochlorite. So yung hypochlorite equivalent is one less oxygen. So may mo na siya ClO negative. So this is already hypochlorite. And ite ending man gihapon siya, change the ite ending to us to obtain its acid name. So that becomes hypochlorous acid. And with regards to halogens, they could extend into perhalite. Characteristic na nila nga po sila mag-extend into perhalite. So perhalite would be one more oxygen from its 8th form. So example, from chlorate, one more oxygen, so ClO4 negative. So this is already perchlorate. So 8 ending man siya, ang derivation acid name, change the 8 into ic. Para sa ni? Ayan. So may masyag perchloric acid, and perchloric is HClO4. So yan yung perchloric acid. So you do the same sa bromine and iodine. Yung interhalogens naman, this concept is relating to combination of two different halogens. Yan, so next slide. Tingnan niyo yung formulas. Duhara kaklase nga halogen being combined, then interhalogens na yun. Pinaghalo, different na dalawang halogen. Halimbawa, chlorine, fluorine. No? Ito, iodine and fluorine. Only that, ang fluorine is in 5 parts. Or bromine and fluorine. So, dalawang klase lang na halogen, pinaghalo, then interhalogen yan. Then, pwedeng in poly number ang second element. Basta ang point lang is duha ra gyud ka halogen. Duha ka klase na halogen. Next, ang iodine bromide, this is capital iodine bromide, iodine chloride, and iodine trichloride. It exists as solids, while others, they may either exist as liquid or as gases. Pag sinabing pseudo-halogens naman or halogenoids, the next slide, ayan, resemble halogen sila molecule. Hindi sila totoong halogen, hindi sila fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, not at all. Pero when you check its characteristic, they resemble that of halogen. They also carry -1 na oxidation state. -1 oxidation state. Although, hindi sila made up of the true halogen. Kaya tawag sa kanila, pseudo. So, cyanogen, azide. So, examples. And have the group 7B. The subgroup. Under this are elements that are manganese, technetium, rhenium. Okay. So, ang manganese, this is the third most abundant transition element. Transition element makikita sa middle portion ng periodic table. Its natural occurrence in the environment in pyrolusite, manganese dioxide na form. And it forms a salmon pink color, diba, with sulfur. Example, yung manganese sulfide. Pag reacted ang manganese with sulfur containing compounds, it is able to form salmon pink na precipitate. It's a major cofactor of the enzyme pyruvate carboxylase, and also a cofactor of those enzymes involved in the following processes: protein synthesis, phosphorylation, and even cholesterol and fatty acid synthesis. For the poisoning of manganese, it shows involuntary movement of muscles. Kaya may nakalagay dyan nga Parkinson's-like syndrome yung kinukos niya na poisoning kasi nagkakaroon ng involuntary nga muscle movement. So, somehow, like, targeting niya yung mga neurons na responsible for the voluntary movements of muscles. So, kung na-alter niya yun, affecting movements ng muscles, talagang pwedeng mag-resemble ng mga manifestation just like the symptoms ng mga tao na merong Parkinson's. Kaya tawag niya, parang Parkinson's, yung mga symptoms associated sa kanya with its poisoning. And then these are the forms of manganese. Ang daming oxidation form ng manganese na ay permanganate. So yan yung component ng potassium permanganate. Yung permanganate, coloration niya is color purple. It's a potent oxidizing agent. Yung manganates naman, okay, ito permanganate. Kung manganates, in aqueous solution colored green. Ang manganese 5, it exists as blue. Ang manganite, ito yung naturally occurring sa pyrolusite. Yan yung form ng manganese, in manganite form. Manganic, yan yung form niya, yung Mn3+. It is stabilized by using acid solution. The manganese form is said to be the most common, the most stable. And this is the one that is colored pink in aqueous solution. And these are the official compounds ng manganese. So we have manganese chloride, gluconate, manganese sulfate. Electrolyte replenishers yan. And then technetium. Okay. Group 7B. Second would be technetium. It comes from the word technetus, also known as Eka manganese, the first element produced artificially, first ever element produced artificially, technetium. It is made or this is obtained from radioactive decay of the element molybdenum. Diba? So, yung concept na kapag may radioactivity decay, alpha decay, beta decay, diba, lahi na ang ma-form na element. So radioactive decay of molybdenum by deuterons, then it tend to produce technetium. Mainly, yung 99M technetium compounds in a form of etidronate rather, ginagamit siya for bone imaging. Yan yung most commonly used radiopharmaceuticals, yung 99M technetium for bone imaging, etidronate. So done with group 7, 5, 6, and 7. So again ha, ang group 7A, halogens, group 6A, chalcogens, the oxygen family, and group 5A, the nitrogen family. Okay, let's have the last group. Okay, group 8A. Okay, before I continue, are you still there pa ba? Sige, can you show a reaction kung naa pa ba, buhi pa ba mo? Mahumanay ka sa pharmaceutical InorgChem. Ako lang yun siyang gi-run through. Anyways, ang memorization sa inyo na gid na ang during your independent time study. Okay, so laban lang ha for the graduation. Okay, group 8A or group 18 elements. They are known as inert, unreactive sila at all. They are not reactive at all kasi nga they are already stable. Noble sila, stable sila. So yung last shell nila, yung filled already with 8 electrons. Kaya inert, noble, stable, unreactive at all. So sila din yung tinatawag natin na groups 0 elements. Except radon. Kasi radon, it occur in the atmosphere. Okay? So all are monoatomic and unreactive. Next. Kindly take note, no compound din na aaralin under each element. Kasi why do they need to react no sa other compound? Stable naman sila. Di ba ang purpose nga ng elements do combine to attain stability. They tend to gain electrons during chemical combination para ma-attain nila ang completely filled outer shell. Stable naman sila. Okay, stable na sila in the first place, completely filled na ilang outer shell, so di na sila mo-react. So no compound na aaralin except lang kay xenon. Okay, xenon potentially may cause or may form a compound that is in a form of xenon hexafluoride. So yun lang sa xenon. Okay, but the rest, wala na tayong aaralin na compounds. So ato lang i-familiarize kung ano yung characteristic ng each element. Halimbawa, si helium. Ang helium is said to be the second lightest gas or air. Ang first lightest or most lightest gas is, di ba, si hydrogen. Yung kasunod would be helium. So container color, brown. So dagan na to, no? Ang atong mga na-mention na mga container color coding. Gikan kay nitrogen, kay nitrous oxide, kay oxygen, kay helium karon. So you have to familiarize also that, no? Mga color coding sa gas containers. Helium gas, color brown. Yahang effect, no, kapag na-inhale pure helium, it produces chipmunk-like sound. Okay, so kumbaga ang iyahang ginabuhat, it tend to make the higher tone resonate more kaysa sa yung lower nga tone. Okay? Kaya high pitches ang manggawas nga voice no kung mag-inhale ka og helium. Amplify pa ang higher tones, higher pitch nga tone. So yan yung chipmunk-like sound, Donald Duck-like sound. And okay lang na siya. It has no harmful effects naman. Kumbaga, ano lang siya, um, side effect kapag na-inhale yung helium. Anyways, ma-exhale din naman siya. Okay. Pharmacologic uses, eto, nasabi na to, artificial synthetic air. Helium 80%, 20% ang oxygen. Pwede din siya carrier diluent of some medically important gases. Yung sa ano, sea diving nga pwedeng replacement sa diluent of oxygen. Sa, di ba nitrogen man to commonly used, pwedeng replacement din ang helium. Kasi yung helium, hindi siya nagkukos ng bends or decompression sickness. Neon, galing yan sa Greek word nga neos. Ibig sabihin ng neos, new. So, yung mga neon-containing mga lights for advertising purposes yan. Argon, it comes from the Greek word argos. Ibig sabihin ng argos, inactive. Inactive, kaya lazy yung nakalagay dyan. Diba? Kung lazy, inactive yun. Most abundant noble gas in the atmosphere. Okay? Kung mga noble gases ba, ang pinaka-abundant among them sa group 8A in the atmosphere is si argon. It could be a substitute to nitrogen. As an inert atmosphere siya mga oxidizable pharmaceutics. Krypton, it comes from the word cryptos. Okay, cryptos, ibig sabihin secret, hidden. Secret, hidden. Ayan. Least abundant naman siya nga noble gas. So, ito, most abundant ang argon, least abundant ang krypton, an investigational anesthetic. Xenon comes from the word xenos. Ibig sabihin, foreign, strange. Kaya nakalagay dyan, stranger. So, ito yung sabi natin kanina. No compounds sa mga noble gases except for xenon. So, si xenon tend to form xenon hexafluoride, and yung use ng xenon generally as a gas. An ideal anesthetic inert gas. Potent to provide rapid induction anesthetic. Radon, also known as niton, galing siya sa word nga nighten. Ibig sabihin, shining, radiant. Shining, radiant, niton. So the only synthetic, the only radioactive nga noble gas. Treatment for cancer, yan yung radiopharmaceutical use ng radon. So done with group 8A. Again ha, ito yung group 8A. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. So last na gyud. Let's have group 8B elements. Under group 8B elements, they are arranged in a form of triads. Natay first, second, third triad. So under first triad are the following elements. Feconi. Naikanta sa una, no? Yung feconi. Ay, basta, it sounds like feconi. I forgot unsa to ang exact lyrics. Basta feconi. Ginamit ko siya before nga mnemonics kato nga kanta. Nalimot lang ko sa lyrics gyud nga actual lyrics. Kaya ako namang gihimo nga lyrics kay bag-o na feconi. Okay, so nalimot ko. Can you type in sa chat box kung naka-remember ato nga lyrics? Mayoni ba yun or Basta Fekoni, gikanta nako na siya. Kantahon nako siya para lang madumduman nga under sa first triad is Fekoni. And then sa second triad, Roro ng palad naman yung mnemonics natin dyan. Roro ng palad. Sa third triad, O, Sir, Pit. Okay? O, okay? Ay, sorry. O for osmium, and then Sir for radium, and then Pit for platinum. So, yan yung mga elements under group 8B, first, second, and third triad. Sige, let's start with the first triad. Fe for iron, it is the fourth most abundant of all elements in the Earth's crust. Oxygen, silicon, aluminum, then followed by iron. So, siya yung fourth most abundant. It has a silvery white na coloration, and di ba yung bakal, yung iron, it is attracted by magnet. It can be temporarily magnetized. Yung chemistry niya, two form, yung structure niya, yung ionic form niya, natay ferrous form and ferric form. Yung ferrous form, in aqueous solution, it's colored green. Yung ferric form, yung aqueous solution niya is orange to yellowish brown. And kindly take note yung use ng ferrous is for hematinic agent. Mainly kapag may anemia nga microcytic hypochromic anemia. Yung klase ng anemia na to is smaller yung size ng red blood cell. Kaya microcytic. Smaller yung red blood cell, then hypochromic, reduced ngayon yung coloration. It's because reduced yung hemoglobin content. It's the hemoglobin that contributes, diba, sa coloration ng blood. Microcytic, smaller ngayon yung red blood cell nga size. Okay, more salt naman, it's a double salt. The same with alum, yung sa tawas, it's a double salt at the same time, diba? So, more salt is also a kind of double salt. It contains double salt of iron, sulfate, and ammonium sulfate. Ayan. Kaya may ferrous sulfate, ammonium sulfate na nakalagay dyan. Ito, yung mga forms ng iron, marami din yung forms ng iron. Let's have the keywords na lang. Wrought iron is the purest. The impure form of iron is the cast iron. So, dalawa yung klase ng cast iron. The white cast iron and the gray cast iron. Yung white cast iron is the cementine, and then yung gray cast iron is the graphite scales. Reduced iron is the one that is able to pass through number 100 sheath. So reduced iron yun. Yung galvanized iron or the chrome steel, it is coated with zinc. Kaya kapag galvanized, coated with zinc. Pag pig iron, pig, Tagalog ng pig is baboy. So, iron solidified by blocks. B4, Tagalog ng pig. Okay, so iron solidified into blocks. That's it. So, yun yung mga forms ng iron. The purest one, the impure form, the galvanized iron. Okay, for the uses, essential trace element, yes, of course, no, ang iron. In fact, na-mention natin siya nga, hematinic agent ang iron. Importante siya kasi sa kanya directly nakabind yung oxygen sa heme ng hemoglobin. Present siya sa enzyme na tyrosine hydroxylase enzyme and present in the following proteins. Hemoglobin, as we recall, is the oxygen carrier in the blood. Ang transferrin, as we recall, it's the transport iron or transporter ng iron. It is able to transport iron, okay, in the blood. In the blood. Ang ferritin, it is able to store iron inside the tissues, inside cells. Cytochrome oxidase is very important enzyme for cellular respiration. Okay. Lahat yan, mayroong iron, present component ang iron sa kanila. Okay, ito nasabi na to. Use ng iron hematinic, it increases the hemoglobin concentration. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng hematinic. Able siya to enhance red blood cell production by increasing hemoglobin concentration. Other uses, astringent styptic, it stops bleeding. Iron in the body, enhance yung utilization niya, enhance yung absorption niya in the presence of the following. Pag may copper, pag may vitamin C. And these are alloys containing iron. And you take note, alloys containing iron, the steel, and the mish metal. In the body, normally, yung mga hematinic agent like ferrous sulfate, ferrous fumarate, okay, kapag tinake siya, for those merong iron deficiency anemia halimbawa, it's normal nga meron siyang kaakibat nga side effect causing GIT distress. Kasi ang ginagawa niya, it somehow irritates the lining of the stomach. It irritates the lining of the intestine. Kaya nagkakaroon ngayon ng abdominal pain or diarrhea. So that's um that's a toxicity nga nagkukos ng iron or side effect na nagkukos ng iron. Cardiac collapse kapag poisoning na talaga no or at higher concentration na ng iron, it already produces na free radicals sa katawan. And free radicals, as we all know, reactive kaayo ang mga free radicals. Kaya naman sila unpaired nga electron. So with the production of free radicals, as there are too much no nga iron content ngayon sa katawan, they could tend to cause cell damage. So pwedeng ang myocardium cell will be affected. Okay, causing heart failure, cardiac collapse. Yan, it's because of the free radicals na napoproduce because of too much iron content. Cell damage may occur, like myocardium cell damage. Ito, antidote is deferoxamine. Kasi with deferoxamine, it tend to, kasi it's a chelating nga agent, kaya niyang mag-form complex with iron, forming the excretable, non-toxic form of iron, the ferrioxamine. Ferrioxamine. Okay, for the compounds of iron, mainly for hematinic gid sila nga purposes to enhance the red blood cell production. Example, ferrous sulfate, also known as green vitriol, hematinic agent, the most economical, satisfactory form of iron. Side effect, constipation. Ferrous gluconate, most preferred nga form ng iron as hematinic agent, is available under the brand Fergon, less gastric irritating. Another is ferrous fumarate, another hematinic agent siya. Most stable than ferrous sulfate, less irritating siya with GI tract. Ito nasabi na to, more salt, it's a double salt of ferrous sulfate with the ammonium sulfate. Yung alkali sulfate is the ammonium sulfate. Okay, then we have ferrous carbonate, also an hematinic agent. So mainly, ang ferrous form ng iron ang merong pharmaceutical use, clinical use sa katawan for hematinic purposes. Ito naman, ferric chloride detection test for tannins. And it may also react with the following. And these are the positive indicator. Positive indicator. If it reacts with morphine, with benzoic acid, with resorcinol. Basham's mixture, it's a mixture of iron with ammonium acetate. So it is able to stop bleeding, astringent yung property niya. Iron dextran injection administered IM. Ayan, then iron oxide. Ito, hematinic din to. Iron dextran injection. Okay, parenterally administered lang siya. Ito naman mga pigments. Okay, or kumbaga ginagamit for as dye pigment. Blueprint dye. Prussian blue, Turnbull's blue. So try to take note of the chemical formula. Sino dyan si ferric, ferrocyanide? Sino si ferro? Ferricyanide. P for 4, and then T for 3. Fe4, Fe3. So yan, Turnbull's blue, Prussian blue. Cobalt. Cobalt is, it has an appearance pinkish white, bluish white, and since it's the element next to iron, so in terms of chemical reactivity, they show resemblance in characteristics. Ayan. Essential also in the development of erythrocyte and hemoglobin. Kaya nga, similar siya to iron in terms of action. And ginagamit siya to enhance the foaming quality in manufacturing of beer. Halimbawa yung sa beer nga Colt 45, kaya tawag siya Colt 45 because it has cobalt to enhance the foaming quality of the beer. For the forms, ionic forms ng cobalt, we have the cobaltous and then the cobaltic. Ayan. In aqueous solution, color pink ang cobaltous. And it's said to be stable in aqueous solution. Okay? Kapag anhydrous salt ng cobaltous, iba naman yung color niya. It's color blue. Okay? Aqueous solution, color pink. Anhydrous salt niya is blue. Yung cobaltic form is the oxidized form, unstable in aqueous solution. The vitamin that contains cobalt, it's the vitamin B12, yung cyanocobalamin. Deficiency state of the vitamin B12, it's called pernicious anemia. Let me clarify it dito ha. Yung deficiency dito causing pernicious anemia. Ang nangyayari is, mababa ngayon yung absorption ng vitamin B12. Due to, okay, may reason bakit mababa ngayon yung naa-absorb na vitamin B12 causing pernicious anemia. Due to deficient or reduced intrinsic factor. Okay, absence ng intrinsic factor, let's say. Intrinsic factor kasi is very important for the absorption of vitamin B12. Kung wala yan, magkakaroon talaga ng malabsorption ng vitamin B12. Intrinsic factor is being produced in the parietal cells ng stomach. Again ha, kung may problema sa intrinsic factor, absence of intrinsic factor, hindi ngayon maa-absorb ang vitamin B12 sa katawan, leading to pernicious anemia. Ang megaloblastic anemia naman, the problem here is really deficiency of vitamin B12 and or folic acid. Okay? So, yan yung problem naman kapag megaloblastic anemia. Talagang mababa na. Mayroong intrinsic factor, yes. Pero ang vitamin B12 gid nga level is mababa na. Or mababa din si folic acid. Megaloblastic anemia naman yan. Okay, Vogel's reaction, that's the identification test or qualitative analysis yan for the detection of cobalt ion in a sample. It's a test for cobalt with, ito yung component, ammonium thiocyanate, and the positive indicator, coloration, nga mabubuo na kapag na-detect na si cobalt in the sample, beautiful blue color. Okay, let's proceed to the compounds ng cobalt. You have cobaltous chloride. Again, yung cobaltous form in aqueous solution, it's stable. It's color pink in aqueous solution, di ba? Yun yung sabi. And kapag anhydrous salt, it's color blue. Because meron siyang characteristic color, at anhydrous, if dry yung form niya, if moistened siya, iba din yung kulay, best siya na ginagamit as moist indicator in desiccator nga apparatus. Okay, so yan yung use ng cobalt. Ang desiccator kasi, we actually have this sa laboratory. Ang desiccator, ginagamit siya to maintain the moisture of a sample of a sensitive nga material, if we wanted to have a moisture-free environment for that substance, ibutang nato siya dito sa desiccator para ma-sustain ang dryness. Now, in effect, kung naa siya'y ma-detect no nga moisture out of that sample habang nakalagay siya inside the desiccator, ang atong indicator ana would be the color na mapoproduce ng cobaltous chloride mixed with the silica gel beads under the desiccator. Kapag naging kulay pink yan, indicator yan na may moisture na na-absorb siya. Okay? Kapag naman dry, walang moisture, dry yung substance being contained there, then blue lang ang color ni cobaltous chloride. So again, because of that characteristic color ni cobaltous chloride, kapag dry or moist ang environment, best siya recommended as indicator in silica gel beads, especially in desiccator apparatuses. Ito, nasabi na to, the vitamin B12, important in the production. This is a process no, ng production of red blood cell. Saan ba yung production ng red blood cell? Diba sa bone marrow. Okay, so deficiency, yun na nga, pag may malabsorption ng vitamin B12, then it causes pernicious anemia. And these two are used as pigment dye. Okay. Rainman's green, so color green, iyahang gina-induce na pigment coloration. Thenard's blue, color blue. So lahat yan may cobalt. Cobalt zincate, Rainman's green, cobalt meta-aluminate, Thenard's blue. And yung last element under the first triad is nickel. Ang main use ng nickel is ginagamit siya in making fancy jewelries. And diba na uban nga allergy sa peke nga jewelry. Kuan siya, nagkakaroon siya ng nickel itch. Yun, allergy sa fake nga. So, dapat sa iya kay kanang tinuod gyud nga gold. Kay na nga tao. So yan yung nickel itch, contact dermatitis. These are alloys. So majority sa naa sa slides, alloys containing milk, containing nickel, alloys containing nickel. So alloy nickel with aluminum, Rani nickel. Kapag may zinc, copper, ang nickel, German, silver, alloy copper, and nickel, constantan. Okay, kindly add me sa inyong notes. Yung mga notes nyo about anti-diarrheal agent, like kato nagkakos ng constipation, like kaolin, what else? Yung bismuth, yun na siya, constipating action. Kindly add nickel pectinate, yung activated charcoal, yun na siya, antidiarrheal activity. Nickel pectinate also, na siya antidiarrheal activity. Kaya nakalagay, treatment of diarrhea. So, anti-diarrheal yung action niya. Tomectin. Okay, for second triad, atong mnemonics ani kay ruro ng palad. Mainly, mga catalyst yung gamit nila. They are used to facilitate chemical reaction. So, ruthenium, it's a catalyst for the production of ammonia. Ito din, rhodium, it's a catalyst. Palladium as well, it's a catalyst. So these are metal catalysts. Lastly, under third triad, yung O-serpit. So you have osmium, iridium, platinum. And yung gamit din nila is catalyst din. Okay, for osmium, this is named after the Greek word for odor. Osme, ang Greek word, no? Ihalang ibig sabihin yan is odor. So it describes characteristic odor ng osmium. tetroxide, the heaviest, the densest metal, that's osmium. These two important compounds on the list, they are both used in staining microorganisms for microscopic study. Iridium, catalyst for the production of acetic acid. Platinum is also used as a catalyst. It is the one present no, sa mga anti-neoplastic agent, anti-cancer agents, cisplatin, carboplatin. Halimbawa, sa cisplatin, gamit niya treatment for prostate cancer. It contains platinum complex, also known as platinol. So yun na nga ha, cytotoxic, anti-cancer, anti-neoplastic agent siya. And it is prepared by simply treating it with potassium chloroplatinate with ammonia. So yan yung component ng cisplatin. Prepared by treating potassium chloroplatinate with ammonia. Okay, so that's for group 8B. So again, under group 8B, the elements are grouped into 3 triads. Yeah, the first triad, feconi, iron, cobalt, nickel. Second triad, dururo ng palad, ruthenium, rhodium, and palladium. Third triad, oserpite, osmium, iridium, and platinum. Okay, so we are done with the discussion no, sa review topic. So, wala na may question man siguro. Everything is summarized na sa PPT slides. I posted the PPT slides, the same PPT slides I have shared ngayon sa atong classroom. So you just check it out sa classroom. And then wala masyadong supplemental notes man sa group 5A until group 8B. Okay, sige. What else? For when is our assessment? Last assessment nga quiz. Last quiz for midterm would be on Wednesday. So Wednesday, what do you prefer? Morning? Okay ra ba morning tanong? Ma'am, pwede afternoon? What about the others? Okay ra ba mo afternoon? Can you show a thumbs up? Kung daghan mag thumbs up, then I'm okay with that. Okay. Sige. Hapon lang daw. Lagi kay basing mo na ay mga kuyapan no. Kay murag lang taas-taas gid siya. So, okay, sige hapon ta. Unsa klase nga hapon man nga oras? Mag-rational pa man ta. Like, unsa man nga oras ang inyong gusto. Kanang narabay mga players nato diri. Kanang convenience sa tanan, i-inform na lang ko, kinsay house speaker of the class. I-message lang ko, like si Palalon, pag sabot-sabot lang mo, then si Palalon na lang dayon mag-email chat sa ako, I'm okay with hapon on October 23. Kaya naaman po ko yung meeting po di ay. Kaganina pa ko naka-remember. Naabot may meeting sa main campus. So sige, hapon ta, then you tell me na lang unsa nga oras. Basta na lang rational, mabilisan lang nga rational. 100 items pa rin for 1 hour. And then, by the following week, which is Wednesday, examination, whole topic na talaga. General chemistry up until group 8B. Okay? Sige. No other question? Yeah, Mr.
Excuse me, ma'am, regarding sa location sa kuan, ma'am, sa mga sa
Yeah,
and also kanang allowed me, ma'am, nga mag-civilian then white coat lang, ma'am, or white uniform jud mi ana, ma'am.
Yeah, intrams naman na siya, so okay ra mo mag-OOTD. No, kay intrams week. Para napod mo gamiton sa inyong straight man daw inyong duty ana sa intrams. So pwede ra mo mag-OOTD sa OOTD gyud ang term no. Sa pwede naman daw mag-crop top ug mag-spaghetti sa kuan sa campus. Nga to man ang first year na ako, so pwede tibalintong pwede ra. Yes. So na maka-crop top, okay ra, wala problem. Basta di lang ma-distract ang mga boyses nato, mga boys. Okay? Sige, so Wednesday, next week, pwede ra mag-civilian, hapon na nga to ang quiz, to be announced pa, kay magsabot pa man mo unsa nga oras. And then the following week dayon ana, unsa ang the following week nga Wednesday? It's no wait ha. Tanawon sa nako akong calendar. The following week kay 30. Wala ba'y mga kuan ani, wala pa man ni holiday no, sayang. So mag-meet gyud ta ani sa October 30 for exam na ni. No? Kay ang November 2 wa man gyud ni klase. So dapat maka-exam na ta within October gyud. Mag-pray lang dayon mo nga ibalik ni ma'am nga tapulan si ma'am maghimo og bago nga question kay prayer is the powerful kuan man the weapon, no, motuo man ta ana no. So daghan man kay mag-pray nga tapulan unta si ma'am, so basin di ay no ibalik ra nako, amen to that. So ana lang, so dito ra taman sa October 30 mag-announce din ko unsa na pud atong plano pagka the following week. Okay, basta kay lecture na gyud na sa OrgChem. One day ra gyud ang OrgChem akong target sa OrgChem class. Kay sayon naman gyud ang OrgChem kumpara ani. Daghan man gyud kini memorize so ng InOrg. The OrgChem kay more on mara gyapon siya basic nga knowledge sa chemistry. Organic lang siya. Organic. Sige. So if wala na mo'y question, then you start na dayon. Mag-study na dayon tano for the upcoming quiz 3. Sige, so thank you everyone and see you next week for the assessment. God bless. Mag-graduate lagi mo. Kaya lagi na. Sige, thank you everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Goodbye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Bye-bye.
Eventually.
Yes, bye-bye.